Admiral Hyunwoo Kim stood on the bridge of Bastion Prime, looking out at the stars through the massive viewing window. The orbital fortress was huge, bigger than most cities on Earth. It had been humanity's home for 300 years, ever since the aliens forced them into the single star system called Haven's Gate. The aliens said it was for peace. They said humans were too violent, too dangerous to let loose in the galaxy, so they built a cage around one star system and put all of humanity inside it. Hyunwoo remembered the stories his grandfather told him about Earth, about the blue skies and green forests. Now Earth was just another alien world, and humans lived on metal stations and rocky planets that barely had breathable air. "Admiral, we have incoming messages from the patrol ships," said Captain Sumin Park as she walked onto the bridge. Her uniform was crisp and clean, but Hyunwoo could see the worry in her eyes. Sumin commanded the reconnaissance ship Silent Dawn, and she had been doing long-range patrols near the edge of their system. "What did you find out there, Captain?" Hyunwoo asked. Sumin pulled up a holographic display showing ship movements. "Sir, we detected large alien fleets moving toward our borders. The Veltar Empire has at least 15,000 ships gathering near the outer ring. The Hive Syndicate has another 20,000 coming from the opposite direction." Hyunwoo felt his stomach drop. The Veltar were reptilian creatures who loved war and conquest. The Hive Syndicate were insect-like aliens who worked together like a giant ant colony. Both species hated humans and had been pushing for humanity's complete destruction for decades. "How long do we have?" Hyunwoo asked. "Based on their current speed, maybe 3 days before they reach our outer defenses," Sumin replied. Dr. Jin-Ho Lee, the chief of human military intelligence, stepped forward. He was a thin man with gray hair who always looked tired. "Admiral, I have been studying the intercepted alien communications. The messages are encrypted, but our computers finally broke the code last night." "What do they say?" Hyunwoo asked, though he already feared the answer. Jin-Ho's face was grim. "The alien coalition has decided that humans are too dangerous to keep alive. They call us a cancer that must be removed. The attack on Haven's Gate is meant to be the final solution to what they call the human problem." The bridge fell silent. Everyone knew this day might come, but hoping and knowing were different things. Hyunwoo had spent his entire career preparing for this moment, but now that it was here, he felt the weight of every human life on his shoulders. Commander Bo-Ra Choi, the head of defensive operations, spoke up. "Sir, we have 12,000 ships in our defense fleet. Our weapons are good and our soldiers are well trained. But if they bring 50,000 ships or more, the numbers are not in our favor." Hyunwoo nodded. He had run the calculations many times. Humanity had built strong defenses around Haven's Gate. They had military academies that produced excellent officers. They had weapons factories that worked day and night. But they were still just one star system fighting against an entire galaxy of aliens who wanted them dead. "Send word to all ships and stations," Hyunwoo ordered. "Begin full combat preparations. I want every weapon charged, every shield at maximum power, and every pilot ready for launch. Alert all civilian populations to move to the deepest shelters." The next few hours were chaos. Ships moved into defensive positions around the system. Families said goodbye to their loved ones who served in the military. Children were moved to underground bunkers on the planets and moons. Everyone knew that this battle would decide whether humanity survived or became extinct. Sumin returned from another patrol mission with worse news. "Admiral, our long-range sensors show at least 60,000 alien ships approaching from 6 different directions. They have planned this attack very carefully. Engineering Chief Dong-Wook Han, a stocky man who kept Bastion Prime's systems running, reported that all defensive systems were ready. Sir, our main guns can punch through any alien ship's armor. Our shields can take a lot of punishment, but we have never faced an attack this large before." Captain Yoon Ji-nam, who commanded the fortress's weapon systems, added her own report. "Admiral, we have enough ammunition for maybe 6 hours of continuous fighting. After that, we will have to rely on energy weapons only." Hyunwoo looked around the bridge at these brave people who had dedicated their lives to protecting humanity. Many of them had been born on Bastion Prime and had never seen a natural sky. They were fighting for a heritage they had never experienced, for people they had never met, simply because they were human. "I want to say something to all of you," Hyunwoo began. "We did not choose this fight. We have lived in peace for 3 centuries, bothering no one, threatening no one. We built schools and hospitals and art galleries. We wrote poems and composed music and fell in love and raised children. We proved that humans could live in peace." He paused, looking out at the approaching alien fleets on the display screens. "But they have decided that our very existence is a crime. They want to murder our children and destroy our culture and wipe out every trace that humanity ever existed. They call us violent, but they are the ones bringing violence to our home." The bridge crew listened carefully. These words would be recorded and sent to every ship and station in the system. "We will show them what humans are really made of," Hyun-woo continued. "We will show them that you cannot cage the human spirit forever. We will show them that when you threaten our families, our homes, our future, you wake up something that should have been left sleeping." Colonel Min-ho Song, the fighter squadron leader, smiled grimly. "Sir, the pilots are ready. We know the odds, but we also know what we are fighting for." As the alien fleets moved closer to Haven's Gate, humanity prepared for what might be their final battle. They had no way of knowing that this moment would change the galaxy forever. They had no idea that their enemies had made the worst mistake in galactic history. They only knew that they would fight with everything they had to protect the people they loved. The war for humanity's survival was about to begin. The alien armada arrived like a storm of death and metal. Fleet Admiral Tae Hyung-yoon watched from the command center as thousands of enemy ships dropped out of hyperspace around Haven's Gate. The displays showed red dots everywhere, so many that they looked like a red cloud surrounding the human system. "Count is now 52,000 enemy vessels," reported Captain Yoon-ji Nam from her weapons control station. 12 different alien species all working together. They really want us dead. Taehyung had fought in smaller battles before, but nothing like this. The alien fleet was so large that it blocked out the stars in some directions. Veltar battleships, each one the size of a small city, moved in formation with Hive Syndicate swarm carriers that released thousands of fighter craft. Other alien species had brought their own warships, all united in their hatred of humanity. "Sir, they are sending us a message," said Communications Officer Woo Jin Lim. "Put it on screen," Taehyung ordered. A reptilian Veltar admiral appeared on the display. His scales were dark green and his yellow eyes showed no mercy. "Humans of Haven's Gate, you have been found guilty of being a threat to galactic peace. Surrender now and your deaths will be quick. Resist and we will make you suffer before we kill every last one of you." Taehyung stood up straight and looked directly at the alien commander. "Tell your masters that humanity does not surrender. Tell them that if they want us dead, they will have to work for it." The alien admiral hissed in anger and cut the transmission. Within minutes, the first wave of attacks began. Colonel Min-ho Song led his fighter squadrons out to meet the incoming swarm. "All wings, this is Ghost Leader. Remember your training and watch each other's backs. We are outnumbered, but we are better pilots than these alien bugs." The space around Haven's Gate exploded into battle. Human fighters, small and fast, darted between massive alien ships like angry wasps. Min-ho's squadron worked together perfectly, using tactics they had practiced for years. They hit alien formations from unexpected angles, destroyed key ships, and vanished before the enemy could respond. But there were so many aliens. For every enemy ship the humans destroyed, 10 more took its place. Min-ho watched good pilots die as alien weapons found their mark. His best friend, Lieutenant Kyung-ho Park, screamed over the radio as his fighter exploded. "Ghost Leader to all squadrons," Min-ho called out, his voice steady despite the pain in his heart. "Fall back to defensive positions. Make them pay for every meter they advance." On Bastion Prime, Admiral Hyun-woo Kim coordinated the fortress's defenses. The massive station's main guns fired continuously, each shot powerful enough to destroy an alien cruiser. But the enemy kept coming. Wave after wave of ships that seemed endless. "Shields are down to 60%, reported Engineering Chief Dong-wook Han. "The aliens are concentrating fire on sections 7 through 12. I am moving repair teams to those areas, but we are taking heavy damage." Commander Bo-ra Choi watched the tactical displays with growing concern. "Sir, they are not trying to destroy us quickly. They are wearing us down slowly, making us use up our ammunition and power. This is a siege, not a quick attack." Hyun-woo understood the enemy strategy. The aliens knew that humans were good fighters, so they were not taking chances. They would pound the human defenses with overwhelming firepower until nothing was left. It was smart, but it was also cruel. They wanted humanity to suffer before they died. Captain Soo-min Park brought her ship Silent Dawn through a gap in the alien lines, her hull smoking from laser hits. "Admiral, we completed our reconnaissance mission. The aliens have supply ships coming in behind their main fleet. They are planning for a long battle. The fighting continued for hours. Human ships fought with desperate courage, using every trick they knew to damage the enemy. Captain Jihunan led a suicide run against a Veltar command ship, ramming his destroyer into the alien bridge at full speed. Lieutenant Commander Hiejin Yu held a critical defense position until her ship's reactor overloaded, taking 3 enemy vessels with her. But courage alone could not overcome such terrible odds. One by one, human ships were destroyed or forced to retreat. The alien fleet moved closer to Bastion Prime, their weapons reaching out like hungry claws. "Sir, we have lost contact with Defense Platform Charlie," reported Captain Yunji Nam. "Platform Delta is down to emergency power only. The outer defense line is collapsing." Dr. Jin Ho Lee looked up from his intelligence station. "Admiral, I'm picking up alien communications. They are celebrating. They think the battle is almost over." Yunwoo felt the weight of command crushing down on him. Every decision he made meant life or death for thousands of people. Every order he gave might be sending brave soldiers to their deaths. But he had no choice. Humanity was fighting for its very existence. "All ships, this is Admiral Kim," he announced over the fleet communication system. "I know the situation looks bad. I know we are outnumbered and outgunned. But remember what we are fighting for. We are fighting for our children, for our future, for the right to exist in this galaxy." On the bridge, the crew listened to their admiral's words while they continued their desperate work. Weapons Officer Lieutenant Seo Jun Kim fired the main guns again and again until the barrels glowed red-hot. Navigation Officer Ensign Yu Jin calculated firing solutions while enemy lasers burned past the bridge windows. "We have shown the galaxy what humans can do when we are pushed too far," Hyunwoo continued. "We have made them pay a price they did not expect. Whatever happens next, we have proven that humanity will not go quietly into the darkness." The alien fleet pressed closer. Their weapons hammered at Bastion Prime's shields without stopping. Explosions lit up the fortress's hull as alien missiles found their targets. The great station that had been humanity's home for 3 centuries was slowly being torn apart. Engineering Chief Dongwook Han ran from section to section, trying to keep critical systems working. "Sir, we have hull breaches on levels 40 through 55. Life support is failing in the eastern sections. I do not know how much longer we can hold together." Commander Bora Choi made a difficult decision. "Admiral, I recommend we begin evacuating non-essential personnel. The civilians and wounded should be moved to the escape ships while we still can." Hyunwoo knew she was right, but the words tasted like poison in his mouth. "Begin evacuation procedures. Medical personnel and civilians first. But all military personnel stay at their posts. We hold this line until the end." As the evacuation began, the alien attacks grew stronger. They could sense that the humans were weakening. Soon they would move in for the final kill. But they had no idea that their victory would be the beginning of their own destruction. Bastion Prime died like a star-going supernova. Admiral Hyunwoo Kim stood on the bridge as alien weapons finally broke through the fortress's shields. Explosions ripped through the massive station, tearing apart 3 centuries of human civilization. 200,000 brave defenders went down with their home, fighting until the very last second. "All hands, this is Admiral Kim." Hyunwoo spoke into his communicator as fires raged around him. "It has been an honor to serve with you. Tell our children that we held the line. Tell them that humanity does not surrender." The explosion could be seen from the edge of the star system. It lit up space like a second sun, and when the light faded, Bastion Prime was gone. With it went humanity's last visible stronghold and their strongest military leaders. Commander Bo-Ra. Choi watched the destruction from the bridge of her cruiser Last Hope. She had managed to escape with a handful of other ships, but most of the human fleet was destroyed. Tears ran down her face as she saw her home die in flames. "Ma'am, we need to go," said her navigation officer. "The aliens are sending ships to hunt down survivors." Bo-Ra wiped her eyes and straightened her uniform. "Set course for hyperspace. Emergency jump to the backup coordinates." The Last Hope and a few other surviving ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind the burning wreckage of their civilization. The aliens celebrated their victory, believing they had finally solved the human problem forever. On the flagship of the alien fleet, Veltar Admiral Zoth looked at the tactical display with satisfaction. "Send word to all coalition worlds. The human threat has been eliminated. Haven's Gate is ours." Hive Queen Vess, speaking through her warrior drones, agreed. The galaxy is finally safe from human violence. We can now divide their territory among the coalition members. Other alien commanders nodded in agreement. The humans had fought better than expected, but in the end, they were just one small species against the combined might of the galaxy. It was a lesson to any other species that might think about challenging the established order. What the aliens did not know was that they had just made the worst mistake in galactic history. Captain Suman Park drifted in space inside an emergency escape pod. Her ship Silent Dawn had been destroyed in the final hours of the battle, and she was badly injured. She watched through the pod's small window as alien ships moved through the wreckage, making sure no humans had survived. Just when she thought her oxygen would run out, a new ship appeared, but it was not an alien vessel. It was human, larger than any ship she had ever seen, with weapons and armor that looked decades ahead of anything in the human fleet. The ship's tractor beam pulled her pod inside, and Suman found herself in a medical bay that was cleaner and more advanced than anything on Bastion Prime. A woman in an admiral's uniform approached her bed. "Captain Park, I am Admiral Eugene Kang of the Deep Fleet," the woman said. "Welcome aboard the Invisible Hand." Suman tried to sit up, confused and weak. "Deep Fleet? I have never heard of any Deep Fleet. And how do you know my name?" Admiral Eugene smiled sadly. "We have been watching the battle from long range. We recorded everything and identified all the survivors. As for the Deep Fleet, that is a long story that begins 300 years ago." Over the next few hours, as Suman recovered from her injuries, Admiral Eugene told her the truth about humanity's real situation. The story was so incredible that Suman would not have believed it if she had not seen the evidence with her own eyes. "Haven's Gate was never our real stronghold," Admiral Eugene explained. "It was a decoy, a sacrifice to hide our true strength. While the aliens watched us and counted our ships, we were building a secret fleet in the void between galaxies." She showed Sumin the ship's database, which contained records of thousands of vessels and millions of personnel. "The Deep Fleet has been growing for 3 centuries. Every human who seemed to die in accidents or disappeared during patrol missions was actually recruited into our secret navy. We have been waiting and preparing for this day." Sumin looked at the numbers and felt her heart race. "How many ships do we really have?" 500,000 warships, Admiral Eugene said. "All of them more advanced than anything the aliens have ever seen. We let them destroy our visible fleet, so they would think we were defeated. Now they will celebrate while we prepare to show them what human anger really looks like." The ship's communication system activated, and a new voice filled the medical bay. It was Grand Admiral Wonho Shin, Supreme Commander of the Deep Fleet. "All ships, this is Grand Admiral Shin," the voice announced. "The aliens have taken the bait. They believe humanity is extinct. It is time to begin Operation Righteous Fury. We will show the galaxy what happens when you threaten human children." Sumin was taken to the ship's observation deck, where she could see out into space. What she saw there made her gasp in amazement. Ships stretched out in every direction, further than her eyes could see. Human warships of designs she had never imagined, all floating silently in the darkness between galaxies. "We have been patient for 300 years, Admiral Eugene said. "We watched our people suffer in their cage. We saw our children grow up never knowing freedom. We listened to alien threats and insults and did nothing. But patience has its limits. The fleet began to move. 500,000 ships, the largest armada in galactic history, started their journey toward the civilized galaxy. They moved in perfect formation, their engines silent, their weapons charged, their crews ready for war. The aliens think they won," Admiral Eugene continued. "They think they can divide our territory and forget we ever existed. They have no idea that we have been preparing for this moment since the day they put us in our cage." Commander Bora Choi's ship, Last Hope, was also found and brought aboard a Deep Fleet vessel. When she met Admiral Eugene, she could barely believe what she was seeing. "Ma'am, how is this possible?" Bora asked. "How did you hide so many ships and people?" "The same way humans have always survived," Admiral Eugene replied. "We adapted. We planned. We sacrificed. And we never forgot what they took from us." The Deep Fleet moved through hyperspace toward the unsuspecting alien worlds. On every ship, human crews prepared their weapons and checked their equipment. They had trained their entire lives for this moment. They were about to show the galaxy that humanity's greatest strength was not their courage or their weapons. It was their ability to plan for the long term, to hide their true power, and to strike when their enemies least expected it. The aliens had celebrated too early. They were about to learn that the human spirit could not be caged forever, and that some mistakes could never be forgiven. In the hidden depths of space, far from any star or planet, the void nexus hummed with activity. The massive space station was larger than any human city, built secretly over 3 centuries in the empty darkness between galaxies. Fleet Marshal Jamin Koo walked through its corridors, watching as the Deep Fleet prepared for war. "Status report," Jamin asked his aide. "Commander Sung-Ho Kim. Sir, all 500,000 ships are now fully activated. Crews have completed final preparations. Weapons are charged and ready. The fleet awaits your orders." Jamin nodded as he looked out through the station's massive windows. Ships stretched out in every direction, more warships than any civilization had ever assembled. Each vessel was a masterpiece of human engineering, designed with technology that would make alien scientists weep with envy. Dr. Subin Oh, the chief weapons designer, joined them at the observation deck. She was a small woman with bright eyes who had spent her entire career creating new ways to destroy enemy ships. "Admiral Yu Jin has asked me to brief the surviving commanders on our capabilities," Dr. Subin said. "They need to understand what we have built." In the briefing room, the survivors from Haven's Gate gathered around a holographic display. Captain Sumin Park, Commander Bora Choi, and a handful of other officers listened in amazement as Dr. Subin explained humanity's secret weapons. "Every ship in the Deep Fleet is equipped with quantum disruption cannons," she began. "These weapons can tear apart the molecular bonds of any material. One shot can destroy an alien battleship regardless of its armor." She activated the display, showing detailed weapon specifications. "We also have dimensional phase shields that can shift our ships slightly out of normal space. Enemy weapons pass right through us while we remain able to fire back." Commander Bora stared at the technical readouts. "How did we develop this technology? These designs are centuries ahead of what we had at Haven's Gate." Dr. Subin smiled. "We had 300 years and the best human minds working on the problem. We also captured alien technology whenever possible and learned to improve on their designs. Human creativity combined with alien science created something completely new." Admiral Eugene Kang entered the briefing room, followed by a man in the uniform of a fleet admiral. The survivors gasped when they saw him. "Fleet Admiral Tae Hyung-yoon?" Captain Sumin could barely believe her eyes. "But you died when Bastion Prime was destroyed." Tae Hyung smiled grimly. "I escaped in the final moments and was picked up by a Deep Fleet rescue ship. The aliens think I am dead, which gives us an advantage. I will be commanding the Vengeance Corps, our elite assault force." He gestured to the holographic display, which now showed fleet organization charts. "We have divided the Deep Fleet into 7 major forces. Each one is larger than the entire alien coalition fleet that attacked Haven's Gate." Admiral Eugene took over the briefing. "The Northern Fleet will strike at Hive Syndicate colony worlds. The Southern Fleet will hit Veltar Empire strongholds. The Central Force will attack the Galactic Council headquarters. We will hit them everywhere at once so they cannot coordinate their defenses." Captain Haewon Jung stepped forward. She was young for a captain, but her record showed exceptional skill in both tactics and ship handling. "Ma'am, I have been assigned command of the new flagship Retribution's Edge. When do we begin the assault?" "Soon," Admiral Eugene replied. "But first you need to understand what makes our ship special. Dr. Subin, please continue the technical briefing." Dr. Subin activated new displays showing ship systems. Every vessel is equipped with neural AI combat systems. These computers can think and react faster than any biological brain. They can control weapons, shields, and engines simultaneously while calculating optimal battle strategies. She paused to let that information sink in. "Our ships can fight better than the aliens even without human crews. But with trained human commanders making strategic decisions, we are unstoppable." Commander Young-Soo Bae, leader of the elite Ghost Squadron, raised his hand. "What about stealth capabilities? My ships were always good at hiding, but these new vessels are on another level. The Ghost Squadron's new ships can become completely invisible to all known sensor types," Dr. Subin explained. "You can strike enemy fleets before they even know you are there. You can disable their communications and weapons while they are still looking for you." In the weapons testing area of Void Nexus, demonstration targets were set up to show the new technology in action. The survivors watched in awe as quantum disruption cannons vaporized, massive armor plates that would have stopped any weapon from Heaven's Gate. The aliens built their fleets to fight against our old technology, Fleet Marshal Jamin explained. Their ships have thick armor designed to stop kinetic weapons and energy beams. But quantum disruption ignores armor completely. Their strongest ships are as vulnerable as paper targets. Dr. Jinho Lee, who had also survived the destruction of Bastion Prime, studied the intelligence reports from deep fleet sources. According to our spies, the alien coalition is already fighting over how to divide human territory. They have no idea we still exist. Admiral Yujin nodded. Our intelligence network has been in place for decades. We have agents in every alien government and military force. When we attack, they will have no warning and no time to prepare. The final preparations continued for several more hours. Ship captains received their orders and study packets about their targets. Engineers made last-minute adjustments to weapons and engines. Medical teams prepared for the casualties that would come from such a massive operation. Commander Bora Choi found herself assigned to command a heavy cruiser in the Southern Fleet. As she toured her new ship, she marveled at the advanced systems and powerful weapons. This single vessel could have destroyed half the alien fleet that attacked Haven's Gate. "Ma'am, the crew is ready for departure," reported her new executive officer. Lieutenant Commander Il-sung Cho Bora looked around the bridge of her ship, the Hammer of Justice. The displays showed tactical information that was clearer and more detailed than anything she had seen before. The weapons controls could target multiple enemies at once. The shields could deflect attacks that would have destroyed her old ship. Throughout the deep fleet, similar scenes were playing out. Captains and crews prepared for the largest military operation in human history. They checked their weapons, reviewed their targets, and said prayers for the friends they had lost at Haven's Gate. Grand Admiral Wanho Shin made a final announcement to the entire fleet. "People of the Deep Fleet, the moment we have prepared for across 3 centuries has arrived. The aliens celebrated too early when they destroyed our decoy stronghold. Now they will learn what human patience and planning can accomplish." His voice carried to every ship in the vast armada. "We go forth not as conquerors but as liberators. We will free the galaxy from the tyranny of those who believe might makes right. We will show them that humanity's greatest weapon is not our technology, but our refusal to give up." The Deep Fleet began to move. 500,000 ships entered hyperspace simultaneously, heading toward targets across the galaxy. The aliens were about to discover that their greatest victory had been the beginning of their complete defeat. The attack began at exactly the same moment across 100 star systems. Human fleets dropped out of hyperspace without warning, appearing like ghosts of vengeance in the heart of alien territory. The galaxy's celebration of humanity's death turned to horror in a single instant. Admiral Wanho Shin coordinated the massive offensive from his flagship, the massive dreadnought called Final Judgment. His tactical display showed human forces striking everywhere at once, overwhelming alien defenses before they could react. "Sir, all fleets report successful arrival at their targets," announced Communications Officer Ha-Young Park. "Operation Righteous Fury is in full swing." Wanho watched the reports come in with grim satisfaction. The aliens had made the mistake of spreading their forces across their territories, thinking the war was over. Now they faced human attacks on every front with no way to coordinate their defenses. Captain Heywan Young commanded the assault on the Veltar homeworld from the Bridge of Retribution's edge. The massive ship emerged from hyperspace directly above the alien capital, its weapons already charging for the first strike. "Target their orbital defense platforms," Heywan ordered. "I want their planet defenseless before they understand what is happening." The quantum disruption cannons fired in perfect sequence. Each shot completely destroyed a defense platform that had protected the Veltar homeworld for centuries. The alien structures simply ceased to exist, torn apart at the molecular level by human technology. "Ma'am, the Veltar fleet is trying to respond," reported Weapons Officer Lieutenant Jae-Sung Moon. 40 ships moving to intercept us." Heywan smiled coldly. "Show them what happens when reptiles try to fight humans." The battle was over in minutes. Human ships moved with impossible speed and precision, their AI-assisted targeting systems finding weaknesses in alien designs that had never been discovered before. Veltar ships exploded one after another, their weapons unable to penetrate human phase shields. Meanwhile, Commander Young-Soo Bae led his Ghost Squadron in the most dangerous mission of all. His stealth ships had infiltrated the Veltar Orbital Command Center, moving through their defenses like shadows. Ghost 1 to all units. Young-Soo whispered into his communicator. We are inside their command structure. Disable their communications first, then their weapons control. The invisible human ships struck from within the alien formation. Command ships lost power and communications without knowing they were under attack. The Veltar defense grid collapsed as critical systems were surgically destroyed by weapons they could not see. On the other side of the galaxy, the Northern Fleet struck at Hive Syndicate colonies with devastating efficiency. Admiral Yujin Kang watched from her flagship as human forces liberated world after world from alien control. Ma'am, we have freed the slave populations on Kepler 442, reported Captain Minjun Song. The Keu, humans who were forced to work in their mines, are asking to join our fleet. Yujin felt her heart lift at the news. For 3 centuries, humans had been captured and enslaved by various alien species. Finding survivors was an unexpected gift in the middle of their war for revenge. Send medical teams and supplies to help them, she ordered. Any humans who want to fight can be equipped and trained. The aliens will learn that every human they enslaved has become a new enemy. Fleet Admiral Tae Hyung-yoon, commanding the Vengeance Corps, led the most personal mission of the offensive. His ship struck at the worlds where human prisoners were being held for execution. The aliens had planned to make examples of human survivors, but they found themselves facing a rescue fleet instead. All ships, this is Admiral Yoon, he announced over the fleet communication system. Our people have suffered long enough. Bring them home. The prison worlds fell within hours. Alien guards who had tortured human prisoners found themselves facing the full fury of human military power. Advanced warships destroyed their facilities while rescue teams extracted every human survivor they could find. Dr. Jin-Ho Lee, now serving as Director of Strategic Operations, coordinated intelligence from across the battlefield. His teams had spent decades infiltrating alien governments, and now their work paid off. Sir, our agents have confirmed that the Galactic Council is in complete panic, he reported to Admiral Wan-ho. They are trying to recall their scattered fleets, but our attacks are happening too fast. They cannot organize a coherent response. The aliens' greatest advantage had always been their numbers and coordination, but the human strategy eliminated both advantages by striking everywhere simultaneously. Alien commanders found themselves fighting desperate battles while cut off from higher command. Commander Bora Choi led her section of the Southern Fleet against a major Veltar naval base. Her ship, Hammer of Justice, carved through enemy formations like a sword through paper. Target their fuel depots, she ordered. Without fuel, their remaining ships cannot escape to warn other systems. The base exploded in a series of massive fireballs that could be seen from orbit. Centuries of accumulated alien military supplies went up in smoke, taking with them the infrastructure needed to support large fleet operations. Wing Admiral Min-ho Song, promoted after his heroic performance at Haven's Gate, commanded atmospheric strikes against alien military academies. His fighters swooped down from orbit with pinpoint accuracy, destroying the facilities where alien officers were trained. Remember, we are not targeting civilians, Min-ho reminded his pilots. Hit only military and government targets. We are liberators, not murderers. The distinction was important to human forces. Unlike their enemies, humans followed rules of war even during their revenge. Alien civilians were spared while military and government facilities were systematically destroyed. Colonel Wu Jin Lim led ground forces on worlds where aliens had built monuments to their victory over humanity. His soldiers tore down statues and destroyed buildings that celebrated human suffering, replacing them with memorials to the human dead. This is for Admiral Kim and all the defenders of Bastion Prime, Wu Jin said as his troops demolished a Veltar victory monument. They died believing we were defeated. Now they can rest knowing we won. The psychological impact on alien populations was devastating. They had been told that humans were weak and defeated, that the galaxy was finally safe from human violence. Instead, they found themselves facing the most powerful military force in galactic history. Admiral Wan-ho received reports from every front as the offensive continued. Human forces were advancing faster than their most optimistic projections. Alien resistance was collapsing as word spread that humanity had returned with overwhelming force. Sir, the Hive Queen herself is requesting a ceasefire, reported Communications Officer Ha Young Park. She wants to negotiate for the survival of her species. One Ho considered the request for a moment, then shook his head. Tell her that the time for negotiation ended when they decided to exterminate us. They will surrender unconditionally or face the consequences. As the first day of Operation Righteous Fury ended, human forces controlled dozens of star systems and had destroyed most of the alien coalition's military power. Ships that had taken centuries to build were reduced to scrap metal in a matter of hours. But the humans were not finished. This was only the beginning of their campaign to reshape the galaxy according to human ideas of justice and freedom. The aliens had awakened something that should have been left sleeping, and now they would face the full consequences of their actions.